friends, my name is Alex. This is Alex C. Wilson Wellness, and let's go ahead and do some yoga together. Today's practice is going to be a little bit more on the challenging side. It's going to help us build some strength, might make us get a little bit sweaty, but most importantly, I think it's going to be tons of fun. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll meet you in a tabletop position on the mat, so hands and knees. See you there. So we're going to get started right away with some movement on hands and knees. So set up with your wrists underneath shoulders, your knees underneath your hips, and then we'll take a few rounds of cat-cow together. See if you can move with your breath. So start by taking a nice slow inhale, and as you inhale, lift your chest, lift your tailbone, lift your gaze. Then a nice slow exhale. As you exhale, round your back, pull your belly button towards your spine, let your head move down between your arms. And then again, slow inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. Slow exhale, round the back, pull the belly button towards the spine, head moves down between the arms. Again, inhale, lift the chest, the tailbone, the gaze. Exhale, round the back. Keep going. Move with your breath at your own pace. And then we're going to add on a little bit. So on the next exhale, round your back, pull your belly button towards your spine, send your hips back towards your heels, keep your hands where they are. And then inhale all the way back up, lift the chest, the tailbone, the gaze as you come to hands and knees. Exhale, round the back, pull the belly button towards the spine, send the hips back towards the heels. And again, inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the back, pull the belly button towards the spine as you send the hips towards the heels. One more time, inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze as you come to hands and knees. Exhale, round the back, pull the belly button towards the spine, send the hips back towards the heels. And from here, we'll settle into a child's pose. So maybe you spread the knees a little bit wider and send your hips back towards your heels. Let your forehead rest down onto the mat. If your forehead can't comfortably reach the mat, you're welcome to use a prop, maybe a block or a bolster or a blanket, to support your head so that this posture is a little bit more comfortable. We're going to stay here for several rounds of breath. Start to tune into your breath. Allow your breath to be smooth. See if you can quiet the breath down. And then use the breath to fill your body, so deep, full, complete breaths. Notice where your mind goes if it starts to wander onto other thoughts, other things. And then bring it back to your breath. And as you breathe, notice the support of the ground beneath you, underneath your hands and arms, underneath your feet, your shins, your hips. The ground provides support, allowing you to be in this very gentle posture. And then one more exhale here. And we'll start to make our way back to hands and knees. So wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, and then press down into the hands, tall through the shoulders. Pull your belly button towards your spine to activate through your core. Let's extend the right leg out behind us, toes pointing down towards the mat. Try to make sure that your leg is parallel to the mat and your hip is facing down towards the mat. So we're not opening the hip up, we're keeping the hip nice and stable. And then weight rests into both hands as you press down into the mat. Stay tall through the shoulders. You can stay here or add on opposite fingertips reaching forward. Think about getting long from the heel of the foot all the way up through the length of the spine, all the way to the fingertips. And then the core is helping to stabilize us as we balance. Breathe. And then exhale the hand down, the knee down. Maybe take a moment to either shift the hips from side to side, or maybe take a round of cat-cow if you'd like. And then from here, we'll move on to the other side. So press into the hands, tall through the shoulders, belly button to the spine. Left foot extends long behind you, toes pointing down towards the mat. Stay strong through the hands, pressing into the hands to stay tall through the shoulders. Stay active through the core, and then stay here or add on opposite fingertips reaching forward, long, from the heel of the foot all the way through the spine, all the way through the tips of the fingers if they're reaching forward. Balancing here. And then lower the hand, lower the knee, either shift the hips from side to side or take another round of cat-cow. And then from here, we're going to make our way into a downward facing dog. So take your hands out towards the edges of the mat a little bit more. Space the fingertips wide, press the tips of the fingers into the mat, curl the toes, lift the hips up towards the ceiling, press the chest towards the thighs, and then maybe bend into one knee, then the other a few times, pedaling out the feet. Bringing movement to your downward dog as you work on adjusting into the posture. Maybe you'd like to shift forward into plank a few times, coming back to downward dog. Or maybe you like bending the knees deeply, letting the knees come to the mat, and then extending the legs as you lift the hips. Whatever movement you like, take just a little bit more of that, and then work your way into some stillness so we can get strong and stable and still in our downward facing dog. And then when you're ready, inhale, look forward, travel your feet to the top of your mat, and find your forward fold. Bend your knees, let your torso rest down towards your thighs. Let your head hang heavy, shake your head yes and no. Releasing tension through the neck, through the head. Sometimes I like to sigh it out. All right, let's inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way up. Exhale the hands down. And again, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway and lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands down. And then again, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands down. And this time we'll add on inhale, reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Take your hands to the mat. Step the right foot back, then the left foot back, and find your strong plank posture. We'll hold here for a couple breaths. Pressing into the hands, tall through the shoulders, active through the core, belly button pulling towards the spine, heels of the feet press towards the wall behind you. Continue to hold here or float through vinyasa with me, bending at the elbows on the exhale to lower down chaturanga, and then inhale, lift up, upward facing dog, thighs are off the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful, couple breaths. Inhale, look forward. Travel your feet to the top of the mat. Find your forward fold. Bend the knees. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, arms reach. Exhale the hands down to heart center. Beautiful. We're going to do another round of vinyasa just like that. Inhale, arms reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway and lengthen. Exhale, fold hands to the mat. Step the left foot back, then the right foot. Find your strong plank pose. Stay here, belly button strongly pulling towards the spine, hands firmly pressing into the mat, or flow through a round of vinyasa with me, bending at the elbows 90 degrees on the exhale, and then inhale, lift up into your upward facing dog. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog, and strong here. Downward dog for a couple breaths. Inhale, look forward. Travel your feet to the top of the mat. Find your forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, arms reach. Exhale the hands down to heart center. Awesome. We're going to go ahead and move on. So we're setting up for chair pose. Feet come a little bit closer together. Press down into the feet. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the seat, come down low. Belly button pulls towards the spine so that the low back stays long. Arms are reaching up, biceps by the ears, or if you prefer a little more ease, hands can come to heart center just to make it a little bit easier on yourself. Otherwise, arms are reaching, belly button is pulling in towards the spine still. Always check in with your abdomen, with your core. Make sure you're staying strong and breathe. And then from here, we're going to transition. I'm going to bring my weight into my left foot, get light on my right toes, pull my right heel up towards my glute, and then step back, warrior three to high lunge. Arms reach up towards the ceiling. Pause here. Get stable. Press the heel of the back foot away from you to lengthen through the back leg, and then bend into the front knee enough so that it's over the ankle, so you're strong through the front thigh. And then we're going to add some movement here on the exhale. Hinge forward. Line your spine up with the leg behind you. Reach the arms back. On the inhale, rise back up. And then again, exhale, hinge forward. Line your spine up with the leg behind you. Reach your arms back. Inhale, reach up. Keep going. Move with your breath. Go at your own pace. We're going to hinge forward one more time. This time we'll pause and hold it here. Arms reach back. Front leg is supporting almost all of your weight, but think about pressing some of your weight into the back foot to help balance this posture, to help find support. Core is strong. Belly button pulling towards the spine. Breath is still going smooth. Maybe a little shaky. And then fun transition. We're going to take the left elbow onto the left thigh, spin the back toes towards the long edge of the mat, open the chest up towards the long edge of the mat, and find your side angle pose. The right fingertips reach forward towards the front of the room. Couple breaths here. Make sure that top shoulder is pressing back so your chest is open. We're not facing down towards the mat at all. Still breathing. And then exhale, warrior two, really good. Let's take a few rounds of breath in and out of side angle pose, moving with the breath. So inhale down to your side angle, reach forward. Exhale back to your warrior two. Again, inhale forward. Exhale, warrior two. Let's do 2 more rounds. 1 more. And then exhale, settle into your strong warrior two. Feel that front thigh burning. Leg is getting tired, but we're staying strong in warrior two. Belly button pulls in towards the spine. Chest is broad, expansive as the arms reach out in opposite directions. And then exhale, soften the arms, lengthen the leg, and we're gonna come into a triangle pose. I'm gonna adjust my stance just a little bit. I want my back foot a little bit closer to my front foot. Hands to my hips to start. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, and then exhale, keep the spine long as you take the front shoulder down towards the front leg. Any amount, micro bend in the knee to protect the knee, and then the hand comes down to rest on the shin or on the inside of the calf muscle. You can keep your hand resting on your sacrum, on your hip, or fingertips reach up towards the ceiling, gaze lifts towards the ceiling. Triangle pose. Couple breaths. Now I'm leaning into my left hand, which is resting on my left shin for support here, but you can add more challenge by resting the back of the palm on the inside of the calf muscle, and then it becomes a suspended triangle pose, and you're working a lot harder to maintain the posture. Now bend the knee, rise up, warrior two. Beautiful. And then I'm going to transition back into my high lunge by turning back onto my back toes and spinning my hips forward. And from here, back through warrior three and into my chair pose. Arms reach, sink it low. Belly button pulls towards the spine. And then inhale. Find your standing posture, reach up tall, exhale. Arms down alongside you. Now you can stay right where you are at the top of your mat. I'm just going to come to the back of the mat so that I don't have to turn my back to you as we do the other side. Let's go ahead and find chair pose. Stand up tall, arms reach. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the seat, find your chair pose, get strong. Belly button pulls towards the spine. Arms can stay lifted or hands can rest at heart center. And then I like to take my hands to heart center for the transition, bring the weight into the right foot, bend the left knee, pick the left foot up, bring the heel towards the glute, and then transition through warrior three into your high lunge. Arms reach up towards the ceiling. Awesome. Get stable here, pressing the heel of the back foot away from you to lengthen and engage through the back leg. And the front knee is resting over the ankle, belly button's pulling in towards the spine. And then that movement, exhale, lean forward, reach the arms back. Inhale, rise back up, reach the arms up. Move with your breath. And then the next time you hinge forward, let's pause and hold it there. Super strong, belly button towards the core, lengthening the spine, lining the spine up with the leg behind you. Really holding strong here, even as the thigh starts to burn. And then fun transition into our side angle pose. So my right elbow comes to my right thigh, my back foot spins so that the heel comes to the mat and the toes turn towards the long edge of the mat, and my torso spins open so that my chest is shining forward, my shoulders are stacked, and then my left hand reaches forward. For my side angle pose, I'm adding a little more space between my feet because I find it's helpful. Breathe. How much weight are you dumping into that elbow on the thigh? Can you lift up off of that elbow just a little bit? Challenge that front quad. Breathe. And then exhale. Warrior two. Whew. That front leg is burning already, but we still have a few rounds of coming in and out of side angle pose. So on the inhale, come into your side angle pose, reach the back arm forward. Exhale, back to your warrior two. Beautiful. Again, inhale, reach, side angle pose. Exhale, warrior two. Keep going. Let's do a couple more rounds. And then the next time you come to your warrior two, we'll pause, hold it there. Front leg is starting to shake, but we're strong here. We can hold it. How still can you get? Try to smooth the breath. And then exhale, arms down, lengthen that front leg. Whew, that feels good. I'm gonna bring my feet a little bit closer together to set up for my triangle pose. Hands to the hips. Inhale, lengthen tall through the spine. Exhale, bring the shoulder down towards the leg. Any amount, micro bend in the knee. Bottom hand comes down maybe to rest on the shin. Keep the shoulder stacked so that the chest is open. Hand can be on the hip, on the sacrum, or fingertips can reach up tall towards the ceiling. And breathe. Now again, you can use the hand resting on the shin for support, or you can challenge yourself a little bit more by resting the back of the hand on the inside of the thigh or on the inside of the calf muscle to make it a suspended triangle pose, make your obliques work a little bit harder. Breathe. My breath is starting to get shaky. That's okay. Still trying to smooth it out. And then exhale. Find your warrior two. Awesome. Good job. And then from warrior two, we're going to shift into that high lunge. So the back toes spin forward as the heel lifts up off the mat. And then we'll transition through warrior three. And then once again, pull the heel in towards the glute and find your chair pose. Arms reach. Really good. One more inhale. One more exhale. And then inhale all the way up. Exhale the arms down. Really good. I'm going to come back to the top of my mat and set up for another round of vinyasa. So stand up tall. Arms reach up on the inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway and lengthen through your spine. Exhale, fold hands to the mat, step back with the left foot and then the right foot to find your plank pose. Press down, stay strong here for a few breaths or flow through vinyasa. On the exhale, lower down, chaturanga. On the inhale, lift up, upward facing dog. On the exhale, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Sighing it out. On the inhale, look forward, travel your feet to the top of the mat and find your forward fold, bend the knees. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold back down. And then inhale all the way up, arms reach. Exhale the hands down to heart center. Beautiful. Let's turn to face the long edge of the mat with the feet wide on the mat once again. We're going to play a little bit with some balance here. Now, I've set myself up in this really interesting way because I've got the walls on either side of me so that if I need them for support, I can lean into them. If you want to move your mat or grab a chair or something that you can support yourself with, pause the video, go ahead and do that because we're going to be playing with balance and we're going to be playing with our center of gravity a lot. So let's come into a nice goddess pose, bending the knees, staying strong through the torso. The torso is nice and long, belly button's pulling in towards the spine. And then I'm going to reach my arms out in opposite directions. Couple breaths here. And then we're going to start by moving to my right, so in that direction over there. I'm going to bring my weight into my right foot and slide my left foot to come into a tree pose. Arms will reach up. And then I'm going to lower my hands to heart center, step back out, find my goddess pose, reach my arms out. And then again, slide my foot, come into my tree pose. And then lower the hands, step back out, goddess. And then again, arms reach out, slide the foot in, tree pose. And then hands to heart center, back to my goddess. Now, you can keep sliding the foot, or you can try to step directly into the balance, taking the foot up off the mat as you come into your tree pose. So this is challenging, core strengthening, leg strengthening, balancing work here. See, I've got the wall for support. Really good. Let's keep going. And you can do whatever you want with your hands, really. Your arms, use them to support you as you play with this balance work. Let's do one more. This time we're going to hold our tree pose. Bring the foot to the inside of the thigh or the shin. Get tall, get strong. Find your tree pose. See if you can settle into stillness here. Ooh, balance is hard. All right. Stay in tree pose if you'd like for a few more rounds of breath, or add on with me a little bit more challenge. Reach down and grab the toes, and then take the foot off the leg. Maybe you extend the leg out to the side and find your standing balance here. The wall is still there for support. Hopefully you grab something to help you with your balance if it's struggling, or if you're struggling with it today. Really good. Awesome. Let's bring the foot back. Find tree pose. And then reach out and sink down, goddess pose. Really good. Let's do the other side. All right. No breaks in between. So we're going to bring the weight into the left foot and slide the toes to find tree pose, and then come back out, goddess pose, and then slide in, find your tree pose, take it back out, goddess pose. Keep going at your own pace, and then adding on, if you would like to, try not to land too hard. I'm struggling a little bit because I'm very tired. But if you try to land gracefully, it'll be better for you, for your knees, not landing too hard on that foot that comes out. All right, let's do one more. Find your tree pose, settle in. And if this kind of movement was challenging for you, that's okay. It's good to sort of recognize what our limitations are, accept them for what they are, and then if we want, work to expand them. All right, you can stay in tree pose for a few more breaths, or add on for that added challenge. Reach down, grab the toes, bring the foot up off the leg, and then maybe you extend the leg out and find balance here. Beautiful. Bring the leg back in. And then extend the leg back out. And then we'll come into a wide-legged forward fold, hands at the hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward. All the way down, hands to the mat, to your ankles. If you have a block and you want to reach for a block, you can. Let the head hang heavy. And let's take a couple breaths here. Really good. And then from here, I'm just going to walk my hands to the front of the mat and step myself back to a downward facing dog and take a couple breaths in downward dog. If you feel like you'd like to flow through one more round of vinyasa, I'll invite you to do so. I'm going to stay in down dog. And if you did choose to flow through, make sure you come back to downward dog for a breath or two. And then when you're ready, we're going to meet in a child's pose. So the knees will come back down onto the mat. Space the feet out nice and wide. And then rest the forehead down onto the mat. You can take the hands forward. You can make a little pillow for your forehead like I am, or you can take the arms down alongside you. Let's smooth the breath back out. Really good. And then from here, we'll find our way onto a seated position. And then I'm going to take my seat down onto the mat and bring my legs out in front of me. Bring my hips forward and bend my knees. Grab hold behind the hamstrings, set up for boat pose. You can stay with the feet on the mat or start to find balance by lifting the feet up off the mat. You can keep your bend in the knees, hands behind the hamstrings, or float the arms alongside you for a little bit of added challenge. Strong through the core, and then lower down into a little canoe, lengthening the legs, keeping the shoulder blades up off the mat, reaching the palms forward. 3, 2, 1, and release all the way down. Awesome. From here, let's bend the knees and hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little rock from side to side if you like the way that feels. And then maybe circle the knees around a few times. Give your sacrum a little massage against the mat. And then in the opposite direction. And then back to center. We'll set up for a couple reclined twists. So I'm going to let my knees come off to the left first. Arms at a T shape, my gaze will come over to the right. And then back to center. And we'll let the knees come over to the right, gaze to the left. And then one more time back to center, hug your knees. Reach your feet up towards the ceiling for a moment. You can grab behind the hamstrings for support. And circle the ankles. And when you're ready, bend the knees, pull the knees back in towards the chest. Let the feet come flat onto the mat. And then set up for your comfortable shavasana. So that means resting in a posture that feels comfortable in your body, preferably with the legs out long, the arms down alongside you, taking up space. But if you've got some low back sensitivity, you can use a prop underneath your knees, or even rest your feet flat on the mat. And as you settle into your shavasana, allow your body to be heavy. Feel the ground beneath you supporting your body. And as you lean into that support, notice tension and gripping, holding starts to be released, surrendered into the mat beneath you. And then as you continue to soften and release into the mat beneath you, bring your awareness to the crown of your head. And start to mindfully soften the crown of your head. down through your forehead, around your eyes, into your cheeks, through your mouth, your jaw. And then soften down through your neck and your shoulders, the upper part of your arms, lower part of your arms, palms of your hands and tips of your fingers. And then bring your awareness back up through the length of your arms and into your chest and your upper back. Start to soften down through the abdomen, mid-back, low belly, low back. And then soften through your hips, your thighs and your hamstrings, shins, calf muscles, heels, feet, and toes. Let your whole body be soft, restful. And as you feel yourself leaning even more fully into the support of the ground beneath you, start to notice your breath. Experience that the inhale nourishes your body, providing you with exactly what you need in this moment. And the exhale cleanses your body, allowing you to release everything that you don't need. And then as you begin to feel ready, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your ankles and your wrists. And gradually begin to invite more and more movement back to your body in any way that might feel helpful, any way that might feel good. When you're ready, find your way up to a seated position on the mat, sitting in any way that's comfortable for you. And then take your hands together at heart center so that we can close our practice. Thank you so much for joining me. I enjoyed teaching and moving through these movements with you, and I hope to see you again in future videos and future practices. Namaste. If you liked the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share the video with a friend, and come back again for future classes with me right here on Alex C. Wilson Wellness. I'll see you next time.